I springed off and started looking at some other stuff. Bioshock 2.
Mm.
It's on. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the Narik Chase channel. I'm your boy Narik Chase, and we are here again with another edition of the Breaker Debates podcast, episode
Yay!
146. I have the honor to be with two of the most awesome co-hosts I can have for the channel. That'll be KP and MademB.
Yay! For everybody! Yay!
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's get a party going!
I don't know what the world that was.
That's the coming down to the coffee or caffeine you had earlier. People get really goofy when they have too much caffeine. They start coming down. They do all kind of weird stuff. I just kind of space out like, okay, we're good.
Oh yes. Now I know I've done my 80s videos discussions on the Streamline podcast series, and I still got 3 more videos to upload. But that's all right because now we get a broader perspective since there's going to be 3 people, and yeah, of course there's so many movies we haven't seen them all, so we might end up sending this to another video at another time. Do another video later on about it, but for right now we are going to be talking about 80s horror.
And what a year series it was, because there is a lot, and I say a lot of the movies. Woo, man, there is a lot. I'm still going through pages and pages and pages of just trying to find all the movies.
And you know what's good about the 80s horror? The 80s horror is, I don't want to say it kicked off the horror genre, because you know we do got to harken back to the movies, Count Dracula back in the day, and Frankenstein the Wolfman, and Nosferatu. And
were they really considered horror movies, or just classic movie monsters?
I believe they were horror, but their definition of horror, like their movies of horror, was different than ours.
Oh yeah, there's a huge difference.
Yeah, ours was a little bit more intense.
Yeah, it done changed a lot.
Back when we think of Dracula,
the people's attitudes towards a lot of stuff has changed a lot too. You know, you can't just go around and having spooky eyes and looking like you're biting somebody. Now we have to have them have their throats ripped out and bodies torn apart and siphoned like a hydrant. Crazy.
Like a hydrant.
Done.
I already know I'm gonna start this off. And I know people think this is a good movie, but it's really not.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th. I don't like the movie.
The first one?
Yeah, the first. No.
Unfortunately, you have to actually say which one, but in 1980 there was only one, so we're gonna have to go with the original Friday the 13th.
I'm not a fan of any of the ones that came out in the 80s. I'm sorry.
Well, they're all, the funny thing about, I'm just briefly going across the movie screens here, and a lot of these movies we've actually seen remakes made, and in some cases double the remakes, through very different directors and movie stylings and everything. But if you go through here and you look at just the list of the movies and things that are here, you have everything from extremely campy, like Reanimator, and
which I haven't seen.
You've never seen Reanimator? It's kind of weird. But I mean, you have some really good visual effects in some of these movies. Some of them you have some just campy, God, what the heck were they thinking? Conglomerate movies, and then a little bit of everything in between. So, if you had a taste for any kind of movies, it was there in the 80s, especially in horror movies. I mean,
yes.
I like sci-fi, so you had we could say The Fly, with Jeff Goldblum in here. Aliens, my favorite of the Alien series, which was crazy. And then you have campy movies, kind of like Child's Play and Day of the Dead and Ghoulies, the really crappy effects and stuff, and had nothing to really do anything with. And then you had kind of the middle range, like The Fog or Lost Boys or Fright Night.
Lost Boys was pretty beast.
So, I mean, you have a super huge variety of movies. Literally, sometimes we only see movies that are just really good or really bad. But we have a plethora of movies. That's today's big word, plethora. I heard another big word today, and I already forgot it. But I was like, man, I've never heard that word used before. I had to look it up. So,
cornucopia.
Ooh, cornucopia. Ooh, I like it. But oh yeah, and They Live. Kind of campy, but kind of a cool idea at the same time.
Ain't that the one that the baby had the sharp teeth and it was killing people?
No, this is like we actually got invaded, but everybody's being disillusioned unless you wear a special pair of glasses.
Special glasses.
Like I'm here to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum. Very famous saying out of that movie.
I've heard of it, but I don't think I've watched it.
It is kind of campy, but the idea was really cool, and they pull it off. But it's a very different movie for the time period because we had a lot of like Day of the Dead, Creep Show, Howling, Evil Dead, some ones that really stick with people. Classic like The Shining, literally came out in 1980.
I told MademB I didn't like The Shining either.
That's a messed up movie. The Thing is what scared the crap out of me.
The Thing was awesome.
Oh my god, that when I saw that and that gave me the willies. I can't ever watch that movie. That just gives me too many willies.
The Thing is still one of my
it is a good movie classic, and I have watched a little bit of each of the Thing remake, and then the pre-movie before what happens, where they actually find it. Yes, that one. And I was just like, what? So, but yeah, there's a lot of movies. So, how shall we fire off today? A must like or must hate, maybe?
I'm just gonna go whichever one catches your eye, throw it out there.
Well, ladies first, MademB, you're up.
Pet Cemetery.
Ooh.
But I did not like it. I will not watch it today. It scares the shit out of me. So I'm sorry. The first time I saw that movie, I had trouble sleeping. I didn't like it.
It's based off a book, Stephen King book, right?
Yeah, they're all
Yeah.
Okay,
because creeped me out was that damn cat.
Some of the movies are just like screenplays that he made, but he never made it into books.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go back and read that book and go back and watch that movie.
Did
it me the willies?
Yeah, I seen it.
It freaked me out though.
Messed up.
That cat's the one that really messed me up in that movie because I love cats.
I ain't gonna lie.
That cat gave me the creeps,
okay,
man.
Okay, I don't want nobody to bring up this part because I might have trouble sleeping. So let's just say it scares me, and we like that.
I just like the way the kid was looking when the kid was sitting here trying to kill people. You're like, I was like, who gonna take you seriously?
With a little razor in his hand.
Yeah, I'm like, the world's most adorable killer.
Aww. He's got a knife and he's trying to kill us, honey. Look. Get the gun.
Bye, Junior.
Okay.
But yeah, I watched some Pet Cemetery. It's been a while, but it's what's like interesting about that movie. It fits the horror genre in which it's like one of those it's like an isolated type area that is all going down in.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like a weird intensity to isolated areas like that. If you know what I'm saying. Like usually in movies where it's like very isolated and things are happening like this, especially supernatural things, there's a very like good intense film atmosphere, like suspenseful atmosphere.
Yeah,
like small towns and
or even if it's like takes place in like a house in like a middle of a cornfield or something.
Yeah.
So I think that movie actually nailed that.
Yeah, because they didn't venture nowhere except for their house and a little bit on that old man's house
and the Indian property, the burial ground.
Yeah, that was it. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. What about Oh, I gotta say this. The Blob.
Oh, it's Ken's turn.
It is?
Yes, I'm gonna pop you.
So wait a minute. Are we doing like
whatever we want?
counterclockwise?
Yeah.
So Ken's gonna be technically right there.
Yeah, Ken is right there by Erwin.
Okay. Okay, Ken, go ahead, buddy.
Oh no, you already started. We'll go ahead and let you roll with it.
Yes.
Mm.
Overzealous pays off. The Blob came out in 1988.
I haven't seen it. What?
She ain't seen The Blob.
It was kind of well, that was the remake version, though.
You ain't seen the 88 remake version of The Blob? I seen the 58. I watched that one too.
I remember the
Blob
original.
jelly.
Yeah, the people when they were getting eaten, though, that was kind of jacked up.
Mm-hmm.
When it was like dissolving them in junk, it's like, ugh, what?
The
And
Blob.
it went up that stick and then got on that dude's arm.
Yep.
Yeah, that was like, what? I better keep back.
The Blob is up there with Alien, The Thing, the Aliens. I mean, The Thing. Like that's like one of the most iconic ones to me. It's a great idea. They do a good job with the practical effects. I mean, yes, there's some sequences that are dated, but it's actually and the horror aspect of it is just like badass. Like if this thing gets you, it gets you.
Yeah, even if it just barely touches you, it's got
And
you.
you're basically dissolved alive.
Yeah. Delicious.
Yeah,
Okay.
Delicious
that
and
movie goes
nutritious.
hard. And it does got some of that 80s campiness to it with some of the characters and stuff. But just for those who ain't seen it, a little kid does get his ass dissolved. And that scene was greatly appreciated. That means they took it seriously.
They were playing around. Oh yeah, the kid can't make it.
Snatched him in the water and ate his ass. But go ahead, Ken. Like I said, we're gonna watch The Blob.
You're gonna watch somebody get ate. Yum 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 yum.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta tell you, I just scanned through the movies real quick, and there's some I like, but I have a mixed feeling about this movie. But I thought it was really interesting and different. Was Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
Yeah,
It's
I like
campy.
that.
It's made to be campy, and it's got some really freaking creepy stuff in it too. But yeah, that movie was just something different. I kind of felt I don't like horror movies very much, to be honest. But I got stuck on that movie, and I had to watch it. And I finally watched it all the way through, and I was like, "What?" But it was entertaining. It was creepy, and it was funny. It was a little bit of everything. And it's just, and there's a lot of cult following to this movie too. And I think there's actually supposed to be one that they're talking about either doing a remake for it or I guess part 2 maybe.
Somebody said that they had made a sequel, but I can't remember what it was called.
Let's find out.
And I understand that.
Like, say anything about it.
And when you watch the movie, it's like a good idea, but it's like, what the hell were they smoking when they came up with the script?
There was some serious psychedelic drugs used to make that movie, without a doubt.
Yes, they were out of their mind when they made it. But it's still like a really entertaining and original idea.
Yeah,
it is. I mean, everybody Oh, there was a two.
Cotton candy.
Mm-hmm. It's like watching Killjoy, except the clown isn't a demon.
You never compare nothing to Killjoy.
It's not a demon; they're just aliens.
Gosh, Killjoy is in a world by itself. I don't know what. But anyway,
supposedly there was a return of Killer Clowns from Outer Space, but I don't know if it saw the light of day.
See that's what kind of, I'm like. So is it out or what?
Oh wait, it has officially released plans to make that's a TV series. Don't know. There's some unofficial concept stuff for it, but yeah, it looks like it never took it, and they were talking about making a TV series out of it too. But again, no traction on it. So
how would they start it up?
They because it wouldn't make no sense for it to be no series. It really don't.
Nah, there would have to be some kind of major world domination by clowns or something. I don't think there's enough following to do that. But I could see a sequel or a prequel. I mean, or something about it would be interesting. Campy. It's got to be campy though. You can't have too good of a show. It ruins it.
Christine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I did like that.
We did watch that. We watched part of it. I watched like half of it with you.
But I had been seeing it though.
Yeah. I seen it a long time ago, and then me and her, she was watching it, and I ended up like catching it halfway through.
Beep beep.
Because I remember seeing he had the car, and then he started like bolting up to his dad, and the car ran into the gas station with one guy, rolled over the other guy on fire, repaired itself. How did they get destroyed? I can't even think of it. But
how did the car get destroyed? They crushed it.
Okay.
But really didn't. It was started rebuilding.
Yeah, at the end you could see it bending the fenders though.
Yeah.
It didn't quite kill it, but they kind of slowed it down a little bit.
Comes up with some good ones, just like the car thing, and then the boy, lonely boy, not popular. Then the car makes him popular.
I actually thought that was like a okay. It was a pretty good movie actually.
Mm-hmm.
I still tripped out that way that dude was running.
Really?
It was still actually a pretty good movie. What you got on yours on your end, Ken?
Well, we kind of talked about it earlier, but I like science fiction, so I like the Aliens, the second Aliens, where they go to the planet and they have the Space Marines and all hell breaks loose, and you meet the Queen and all the cool stuff. I liked it. It was scary, but it was more action oriented to me, and I really liked the fact that they carried on the series into that. Now the rest of them kind of get campy after this, but I definitely like Aliens 2 is probably my most favorite of the whole series, simply for all the characters that they had, the Space Marines. You kind of got a little bit of interest into what was going on. I know Prometheus and what was the other one? The newer ones. They kind of hinted to where that comes from, that planet that they were on.
Alien Covenant.
Yeah, that kind of gets the story started, precursor. But I mean, when it just boils down to it, for pure action, pure coolness, and enough scare that I can okay with it, Aliens 2 is just so hard to beat in the science fiction horror movies of the 80s.
Especially,
it's very hard.
It does the rarest thing. It balances horror and action.
Yes, I think that's why I say I wouldn't have never seen it if it hadn't had maybe the Marine Corps, the little guys in there in the Army and stuff like that. And
suspense.
I was all about it. Space Marines, let's go, let's rock.
It balances off of like 4 different genres: suspense, like suspense thriller, science fiction, horror, and action. Balances them perfectly too.
Yeah, it's awesome. I can just keep watching it, and it gives it all the credit that they did in making that movie. I mean, it was just such a good job and good balance that, I mean, it's awesome. I just love it.
Have y'all seen that movie Night of the Creeps?
No.
That rings a bell. I think I have seen that one.
It's about these alien slugs that.
Oh yes.
They go in your mouth and they burrow up your brain.
The thing crashed. Got the guy infected. They froze him. His system thawed out. It got loose, and they just started infecting everybody. Yes.
They inside it, and basically
that movie still gives me especially at the very end.
Oh. So
that movie just makes me willies.
Yeah, it's kind of like Slither, so they don't eat people.
Oh.
They just affect your brain.
They just get in your
like
head.
A zombie.
And then when they get through gestating in your head, your body just like falls down and it splits open, and then it's more
everywhere. Yep.
Pass me a piece of that possum.
that movie did kind of mess me up. I wasn't really happy with that at all.
Yeah, that was pretty. That was a nasty.
That dog at the end. That's what gave me the willies. I was like, ooh.
That's that girl deserved. Sitting here trying to pet some dingy looking dog.
Yeah, gross.
She got what was coming to her.
Nasty.
Even though it is not part of the series, and God knows why they did this, and I wouldn't, but I guess it's up there with the horror genre. It's Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Didn't watch it. Although I hear that music was incredibly stupid.
I mean, you saw the review for it, right?
I mean, I did, but I don't want to because I seen the review for it. I can't really, it's not honest review if I say it based off of that. Even though I did look kind of stupid.
Yeah, because it was just. Ken, did you see it?
Which one?
Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Sadly, I did not. I really never got into the Halloween series of movies. Although I do know people who liked it, and they said it was pretty decent, but I personally have never got to watch it.
I don't know why they felt like they had to venture off from Michael Myers. Maybe he took a sick day and they made that movie in a day.
They were trying to make the Halloween series an anthology. Each one to be a different story set on Halloween.
I guess.
That's why when that movie came out and they got that backlash, they said, let's go back to Michael Myers.
Yeah, well, because the next movie is Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. So, yeah.
I don't know what they were trying to do.
I think I even remember the commercials for that playing, too.
And each day in the movie, it just counts down. 3 more days till Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. 3 more days till Halloween.
Chopping you up.
It was just, I watched it.
Hold on, what did do that again?
No. Man, I was watching the songs. It gets in your head. This is mask this dude was making, and just to kill everybody. Because the mask at a certain time, I think at midnight, was going to destroy every the people. Whoever had on the mask. And that was kind of mean, killing all them people.
You said that's kind of mean.
It is. It is mean. Like, what was he hoping to accomplish by everybody that had on what?
Weren't they robots?
There were robots.
The mask had a microchip that caused them to become brain damage and getting energy from Stonehenge, and it unleashes swarms of insects and snakes to come out of the wearer's corpse and kill anybody nearby.
But I don't understand if whoever had on the mask, maybe mind control. That would have maybe been a little better instead of killing everybody.
I don't understand.
Like, what was that old man hoping to accomplish? And he got his in the end, but still. If they wanted to kind of venture away from Michael Myers, they just did it all wrong. Anyway. Next.
Oh, that's funny. That is hilarious. Have you I feel like I should bring this one up because it was still a good movie despite how messed up the series, not messed up, how inconsistent the series became, and that's A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Well, yeah, the first one is good.
I said the first one was good, really good.
Yeah.
Can't take that away from it.
Nobody saw that coming. That movie started a whole another mentality of dreams. And there was a couple of movies, kind of trying to tap into that realm. And I don't see them listed here at the moment, but I do remember a couple of ones that were based in a dreamscapes, fighting and horror movie types things that were kind of going along those lines. I think one of them was kind of comparatively like, what was the movie? I just saw it here. Scanners, I think, was another one that was kind of along those lines. And another movie I think it was called Dreamscape, that kind of tried to tap into that Nightmare on Elm Street horror mentality of getting you in your sleep.
Yeah.
Because we also talked about this 2 weeks ago with the Dream Warriors. Nightmare on Elm Street with the Dream Warriors, out of the series. That series kicked off a lot of variant horror movies. And sci-fi movies, too.
Yeah, but, what they tried to do, they did it in the first one, but then, what happened?
They
tried to make it too funny and play off the Freddy character.
They tried to appeal too much to the fans. The fans liked Freddy Krueger and his one-liners so much. So what they started doing was focusing on Freddy Krueger and his one-liners, which made him the film was focused more on him rather than the actual characters, and that's why I started kind of getting goofy. I mean, because he was so known for his one-liners.
Exactly. You watch the whole series, and it literally becomes the first movie was like scary with a little bit smart aleck, but if you watch 2, 3, 4, 5, it's not about anybody else around. It's how Freddy handles his business.
Mm-hmm.
It literally becomes a Nightmare on Elm Street Freddy movie.
Right.
That could be different if they focused on the characters. Let us get to know the characters. Give us more weight to them. Because a lot of times they always make them situational characters, and I don't like that. Because they're like, okay, you have to feel sorry for these characters because the school fell into the ground and they're stuck there. It's like, no, kind of give us more to it than that. Like these kids are in the mental institute, but still give us more about their lives before the institution or whatever. Give us something to care about them, not just because they're in the institution or because Freddy's after them, we're supposed to like them and feel sorry for them. Like, no, give us more to it than that.
Okay.
More. Give me more.
Okay, we'll go with another original. 1988 Child's Play. Why would they consider that a horror? But it was on there. But
people got killed. That's why
people die by supernatural means.
But another pretty much original style of movie, though. I mean, that was creepy, man. That Child's Play doll Chucky, man, he was creeping me out left and right.
I like Chucky. The first two. Third one kind of pushing it, and then after that they just fell off the wagon.
Yeah,
and even more fell their fault.
Right of Chucky, and I can't remember the other one was. They were
reaching. Seed, Curse, Colt.
Yeah, way too much.
The next movie is gonna be the Chucky of Chucky. We're like, what?
Chucky clones himself, comes back in the future.
Basically what he did in Colt of Chucky.
Right. I mean, you got a doll, and it's no higher than to your knee, and it's just killing everything and everybody with the little knife he got.
I can understand it if he's surprising. Like, okay, because now he's kind of coming at it strategically.
Mm-hmm.
So if he runs back, you don't know he's there, and he just comes up and cuts the back of your legs. Okay, he's disabled your ability to run.
Just when you see a doll, without seeing any other Chucky movies, you see a doll and got a knife. Why would something like that need to surprise you? You start coming towards you like, oh, you're such a cute little thing, and then you go down to pick it up, bam, slip your throat.
That's with a freaking knife.
That's
like,
when we was
shoot that damn thing.
We was watching the Curse of Chucky. There was one part with this grown dude. Somebody knocked him on the ground. And then he walked up to the dude and he had an axe in his hand. The whole time the dude is like, and then he brought the axe down and knocked the guy's jaw off. And I was like, so why are you just sitting there with your mouth hanging over? Yeah.
Just in shock. I mean, he's like, the dog ain't gonna do nothing. I kick it.
He just like laying down. I was like, what is it? Do something. You know what I would have did? I'd have did some chop suey thing where you spin your legs up like, not the thing. I just get out and just get out. This is all he gonna see. Bow, bow, bow.
Wow.
Bow.
Dead, flamethrower, burn, scatter the ashes, and launch it into space. Yeah, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
Look, hey, Chucky in space. That's gonna be a new one.
I hope not.
No,
that's Fright Night.
I was playing. I was just saying. He said something about space, and I just said Chucky in space.
I have to say this: Fright Night. I hate that movie. I know it's a classic, and I know a lot of people like it. I hate the movie.
Okay.
The main protagonist is a fucking idiot.
Ooh.
I don't like Peter Vincent because he's a dumb character.
Ooh.
The vampire, Chris Sarandon, he was the only thing to like about that movie. because not only did he give a great performance, he definitely fit the role of Jerry. He fit that role to the T. Mm-hmm. And like the way the story is written, I still don't understand this. You are in the room with your girlfriend, making out. She's about to give you something you've been wanting for a while, but you literally stop just to look out the window at the person moving in next door. That's how it starts.
What's wrong with that?
And it's not like the window was right there by his bed, so you could kind of like. No, he literally jumped out the bed to go look out the window. Why? Who can't? Your girlfriend's right here about to give you a piece of that pie. And you focused on the dude moving next door. I'm like, who wrote this?
Why you stupid?
And another part that didn't make no sense. The vampire knows that the vampire knows that the boy knows he's a vampire now. He goes into the house. That dude's house, and he's like, "Look, leave me alone, and I won't kill you." The dude said, "I'm not going to leave you alone." I'm like, so why don't you just kill him and his mom and just get it over with? He don't. He literally leaves. I was like, whoa, wait, what? You've got the boy cornered. Why don't you just kill him? He literally said he knows you're a vampire. He's not going to let it go. Kill him, and if his mom getting away, kill her too. And get out. You've done that.
Nobody's gonna think about it.
I was like, really? Like that.
It's okay. Calm down.
I don't get it. I don't get it. And the sequel.
Why?
Sequel's kind of like the same thing. Even though the one thing I like about the sequel though is the bad guys, because they had fuck ton more personality than the good guys did. I didn't care about the good guys in the slightest. Bad guys, this is how much personality they gave to the bad guys. There's one part they killed these people in the bowling alley, and they actually gave them a scene bowling. They're just having fun bowling and stuff. So I was like, yeah, they're pretty actually cool characters. So somebody else go. I'm sorry.
Ahead, Ken.
Oh, how about another good science fiction horror classic such as The Fly?
You know, I still haven't seen that one.
What? That's a classic horror movie there.
I haven't seen that one.
It's a slow burner movie, but it's a good one.
Yeah, the only thing I have, the original was like 1950 something.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit different, but the concept is the same. But now we have better graphics in 1986, so 30 years later. But basically, he's trying to create teleportation. Jeff Goldblum's character, and he gets it together, and he enters the pod. But when he enters the pod, a fly follows him. Now, in the original movie, the man has the fly head. It's like a giant campy fly head. And then the fly actually has the man's head. And in this one, basically, nothing really happens up front. And then over time, Jeff Goldblum's character starts basically evolving, I guess, and changing into a very large fly. But over a period of time, he's basically losing his humanity to the fly genetics. So he's like spitting on his food with digestive acids, eating it. He has a bad sugar craving. Body parts are falling off and everything. It's pretty crazy. And basically it's kind of him losing his humanity, trying to keep it, and he ends up trying to drag the girl he falls in love with in it with him, so they can all be one entity. And the superhero of the day saves the day by basically ruining the teleportation device, and then ends up putting a shotgun to his head and taking care of business.
It's an interesting movie, and it's definitely one of those movies that focuses on character and character development. And one thing I would say about this, and that's just me because I'm always doing this, I wish that they would have the whole fly aspect of it. Like I wish it would have been a little bit more extensive. Maybe I don't know. Maybe have the Fly be a public menace for a second, then I don't know.
Cause some problems and then kind of get taken care of.
Yeah, because all it was he was pretty much focused, obsessing over that woman.
Yep.
That's about it. But maybe if they do like a Fly sequel, they could do that. Because they did that in the second movie too. Like towards the end, he fully, like within the last 20 minutes, he transformed into the Fly,
Yeah.
whatever the
Well,
hell.
remember the girl was pregnant.
Yeah, like in the other
So
one, the second one, he transformed to, I don't think it was a fly, like he transformed into a cactus. I don't see. But but like have him like transform like halfway through the movie, and they're trying to hunt him down or something. But I'm not taking that away from the Fly because the Fly actually is a good movie.
Okay, okay. My turn.
Mm-hmm.
Even we have done videos on this, even though you said you don't like it. 1980, The Shining.
I don't like The Shining.
I'm sorry.
There is things I like about it, but to me, a movie, it's not a good movie.
Okay. You explained that. Okay, what did you say? He didn't have like during the movie there was no like love.
Like I said in The Shining, Jack Nicholson's character had nothing to like about him right off the bat. So when all this stuff is going down with him, you don't feel sorry for him.
Basically,
it was like there was no. It was like a movie talking about crackheads, and the crackhead is the main character who goes to a place for crackheads, knowing crackheads going to be there, and gets on crack. And it's like no, because he knew that was going to be the like his character. It's probably a bad example actually, but. But the problem was I didn't like his character from right off the bat. There was nothing likable about his character.
I mean,
nothing.
I get maybe they wanted an easy target.
No,
during the making of the movie, you know what? I told you what they had him do. Being isolated, just eating cheese and crackers, which is why his face was like that.
Like no, I'm talking about like look, I understand that. But it should be a transition.
I understand. Like in the second one.
The second one did a better job of it. He was a likable character at first, and then when he moved there, and then even when he was moved there, he was still a good guy. But eventually he started transitioning. The movie doesn't transition at all in the movie. The entire movie, like as soon as he started screaming, I wasn't shocked. I was like, he damn near did that at the beginning of the movie. When he started freaking out, all that stuff, I'm like, he damn near did that at the beginning of the movie. Now, there are certain elements about the movie I do like. The hotel had a very isolated, creepy, suspenseful feel. The one part where the boy was riding the little tricycle thing.
Yep.
That scene, the way it was shot, the fact that there was no music, the audio, like that one was just perfect.
What they had to go through to get that shot, it was good.
I liked the woman. She was a great actress, and she seems like she's one of those women that every time she's in the movie, she's playing either a shy role or a role where she's like screaming all the time, like she's like about to get killed.
I think she lost her voice during and all that.
Like I liked her, and it just like, and even kind of what was going on at the place, which was kind of weird because you couldn't tell if it was a psychological thriller or if it was actually ghosts in the place.
True.
And then the black dude didn't get no time at all. The only memorable thing he said in the movie was "Shining." The Shining.
Oh, the Shining.
He didn't get no screen time.
So the hotel has a shine to it. Not all, which are good. So stay away from room 237.
I was hoping he'd come out and say, "That's all, folks."
Bleep, 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 bleep. That's all, folks. They're all dead.
But you know what? That's just me. That's what I saw. Like I said, it had great suspenseful elements to it.
I'm just trying to figure out how he ended up back in the picture in 1921.
That's the part where it's like, okay, I guess they were ghosts then, because the whole movie kind of sets up like it's a psychological thing.
I think I wish they would explain that. like he said, he has a feeling of deja vu, like he's been there before.
Yeah.
So was it an ancestor? Was it great uncle, my grandpa? I don't know. They never really explained.
The hotel has memories. So is he the ghost in the memory? I mean, I didn't quite catch where they were trying to go with that. I mean, I can understand the ghosts, okay, but how did he end back in a picture in 1921?
I figured that after he died there, he got added to the. I guess he becomes a ghost there now too. Added to the people that got killed there before him. Kind of like every time somebody dies, they get added to the picture.
Oh, okay, I can see.
That's what I took it as.
Or it would have been a better shot of him maybe walking back into the hotel.
Yeah, like turning at the screen and the door just
and having that same old Jack Nicholson face.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Marking my territory.
He puts on that wide brim hat with makeup on, and that's how he becomes the Joker.
Yeah.
He stayed outside in the cold too. But that's person. That's me. What's another one on your list, Ken?
Well, actually, no. We'll talk about They Live too, because I like that movie. Although it was not really a complete horror movie like in The Shining or Fright Night or anything like that. It was it was kind of creepy, an element of the aliens. But basically, long story short, a lot of things are going on. A lot of the wealthy have basically teamed up with a group of aliens trying to, I think they were from Venus, if I remember right. I'll do a real quick ready here. I think they were from Venus, but anyway, they were, they were coming to Earth to take over Earth, but they were doing it quietly, incognito, behind the scenes. No one really believed anything, but they were using a way to mask themselves so they didn't really be seen. And they were putting messages all over everywhere that they were trying to breed into humanity, and it was all kind of crazy stuff. And the only way you could see the truth is through these special lenses and these glasses. And they find out that there's all kind of crazy stuff going on. Like it says, obey, consume, reproduce, conform. That shows the aliens what they actually really look like in human form. But it's kind of a cool action movie too, because I think it had Roddy Piper, the wrestler, was really popular at the time. He was in there. John Carpenter is the guy who did the background for the movie as a director and a screenplay. So it was something kind of different, a little, in a time of action horror movies, I guess you could say. But it had that science fiction element in there, and it was pretty freaking cool. It's just definitely one of those. It's just a fun to watch movie. I mean, it's not scary, but it definitely gives you something to enjoy and watch and see what's going on. And then you realize the suspense of what's been going on. And you're like, whoa, how long they've been doing this? It leaves you a lot of questions after you watch the movie, going into the mentality of the story itself.
You gonna walk to your neighbor house and be like, man, let me put these shades on.
You some super freak.
You're a little bit too nice. Let me put these shades on.
Yeah, it says they control Earth, they deplete the planet's resources and destroy its environment before moving the others. So they're basically hop, skipping, and jumping. That's kind of the premise. But, some people have found out about it but were killed, but this is how it goes. Which is pretty sweet. Pretty sweet.
Okay.
Yeah, have you ever seen that movie Chud?
Yes, Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dwellers, Chud.
It's actually, I thought when I first watched, I was like, man, this movie's stupid. But then I sat back and watched it again and, just opened my mind to it. I'm like, you know what? It's a good concept, and for what they did in the movie, it's actually pretty good. Practical effects were pretty good. The acting isn't bad at all. It does got that layer of cheese on it, but
it wasn't made to be like one of them scary movies. I mean, it wasn't meant to be campy either, but
But it's still pretty interesting watch. I liked it.
I think I watched it like one time on a late night movie binge or something.
All right.
I'm trying to remember, see how all the. Man, that's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
I know you got another one, Miss MademB.
Prom Night, 1980.
That's the one with
1980.
That's the one with
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, we watched that one.
Were you watching the movie or were we watching Miss Curtis? I'll leave it open. All right. I'm trying to remember. Nope, I haven't seen that one.
Wasn't a bad movie, but
I mean, the way it happened. I mean, you don't.
Leslie Nielsen in it? It wasn't a comedy? That's kind of weird.
Yeah, he was in there. He was he wasn't a principal.
who?
What did you say Leslie Nielsen? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he was that dude's dad, wasn't he? Yeah, he was one of the dude's dads in the movie. Was it a girl? I think it was a dude.
But the way it happened, it was like, okay, they scared the girl out of the window. And then, of course, fade to black. Years later, getting ready to go to the prom, there was a phone call. I see you. Or whatever he said. I'm like,
Better stop watching those movies and stop smoking too.
That boy said, I see you.
Grandma, stop calling me like that.
Yeah,
I want to fight my guys all the time. I'm just gonna kill you, okay? All right.
I think the second one had a little bit more. Well,
You want the dress?
Yeah, Mary Lou.
You saw all of it. I didn't.
Yeah, I think that was kind of a little bit better than the first one because, I mean, in the first one, trying not to just be the girl's brother because all them years, I mean,
He felt guilty.
Yeah, but he know who did it. You know, scared the girl out the window. Take her. You gonna wait and then take revenge out on them at their prom, their last prom.
It is a good movie. I'm not. Yeah, it's a good movie because they actually gave you plenty of time to learn about the characters, and the thing about it is the movie, like the last 30 minutes of the movie, that's when everything jumps off. That's when he starts killing people. It. But it's a slow burn. But when like the last 30 minutes of the movie, he gets going.
Yeah.
The funniest death in that entire movie was the van. Because he got the dude and the dude drove off a cliff and it blew up midair. I'm like, what?
Okay.
I'm like, this movie's stupid. Oh man, go ahead, kid.
How about a really creepy movie, Hellraiser?
I don't like Hellraiser.
Didn't like the Hellraiser, huh?
I
thought it was just creepy and very different. And I mean, Pinhead is just, you know, Pinhead and the Sebanites have their own cult following too. I mean, literally. I mean, the first movie, you know, really kind of gives me the willies. I mean, the rest of them are kind of weird too, but it's just, it was something very different, something not really seen before in the horror movie genre. You know, we always had all kind of weird, and you still don't really know what to think of the Sebanites. What are they? Are they demons? Are they aliens? I mean, what are they? And what's their deal?
Not demons, even though you would think they were, but they're technically not. They're like interdimensional beings.
Yeah, they've kind of bounced around a little bit into actually saying kind of what they are.
Cenobites.
I wish they would have thought of another name for them because every time I say it's like Cenobites. You know,
Cenobite with milk.
You can call them cinnamon bites you want.
They bite back, and they don't really care.
And their names, what CD face?
I hope not. I hope that wasn't the name of that dude. Like,
I mean, it was something very different, something very creepy. I say just something I hadn't really seen before. I mean, we had our slasher films and all this. This one was on a different level, a very odd, crazy level, and it came from Clive Barker. Definitely one of the horror masters. So
like
yeah,
it's a cool concept, but like the first movie doesn't really focus on them. It focuses on this girl and her crazy ass uncle. And then, like in the last like 15 minutes, then you actually get the full thing on the Hellraiser.
But was it in all of the movies? They wasn't really following a particular character. Like, were they? Did they ever explain who?
They will eventually end up following a family.
Whoever in that one movie they made it to where it's like they kept interacting with this one family. I think it was the fourth movie. They made it to where it was like they kept Bloodline, yeah.
Bloodline.
But like they only really mess with you if you have that box thing. That was about the people, most people that deal with.
Every movie they like found a way to get the box. Like the girl in the what's her name, Kirsten.
Wasn't she in the second movie?
Yeah, she was in the first and second, wasn't she?
I guess I remember the brunette and I remember a blonde.
But they always found a way to get the puzzle box. It got to where at the end there were like several of them. Like a dude had a whole wall full of puzzle boxes.
Like that don't make no sense. It's like how many pinheads are there in?
Yeah, that dude. His background. I keep missing on that.
The guy that turns into Pinhead found one of those boxes, and when he opened it, he got pulled into that dimension. And the reason why he became Cenobite is because he got pulled into that dimension, and he started torturing. So, like, I guess he started torturing himself. I don't know. It got to the point where he was getting tortured, and then he got used to it, I guess. So he turned to Pinhead. It's something like that.
He likes it.
When he
he likes it.
Like when he solved it, I think the first thing that happened was a bunch of chains came out of the box and hooked on his face.
Snatched him apart.
Was that him?
No, that wasn't where Pinhead comes from. That was in the very first movie where the guy opens the box for the first time.
Yeah, the uncle. Okay.
Yeah, it snatches him in 1,000 pieces.
Yeah, but I do remember that the guy that Pinhead originally did solve the box, and I think he got pulled into that dimension.
And yeah, Hellraiser 3, it basically was that Pinhead had been a human, but he was actually kind of like two pieces: a World War II veteran, a guy named Elliot Spencer, and then his physical embodiment of Pinhead, basically.
Mm. So he was still the other person. He was just Pinhead.
Yeah, he was kind of split into two. He was kind of like two people, and ends up being separated and reunited back into Pinhead, basically. But all of the Sebanites at one time were some human or some form of human at one time. Because they come across that several other times when they talk about the storylines. That they eventually were. Because I know in one of the movies, the two guys that are drilled with their heads together, they were humans, and they were just serving Pinhead, and he made them a Sebanite. There was
that was in the fourth one. That was in Bloodline.
Yeah, and there was another one with a lady who had learned that they had been human, and she ends up becoming one of them as well later on in the series. So, yeah, there's some humanity ties in there, but they still never completely, truly give you what they are. But it's always, gothic-y, sadists, whatever you want to say, pleasure and pain. As Pinhead said, pleasure and pain are one and the same. So,
I call them weirdos.
Yeah, but I mean, again, as a 80s horror movie, it was something just like Nightmare on Elm Street, something different. Dreamscape in this case, we have kind of sadist / demon, if you want to call him that or whatever, trying to get somebody who escaped from their clutches. through the use of the box. So, but it was different. It was different. It spawned like 9 other movies off of that. So it definitely carried on the storyline.
And it went straight downhill too.
Yeah, I don't know what they were trying to do.
Yeah, but I mean, it was different. I mean, you know, the 80s we saw, you know, quickly is a lot of the movie series we see started there. You know, we had Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, The Howling, if you like the campy werewolf movies, Hellraiser. You know, a lot of these spawned off, you know, 4, 5, 6 movies, but different genres, and they kicked off. You know, Aliens carried on in the series of 5 more movies later down the road, or 4 more movies down the road. So this was this 80s was a big kickoff in jumping into, because before that, I mean, I remember most of the movies I saw in that time frame were a lot of comedy. And stuff like that, you know, in the mid 80s to the early 90s was all kind of like comedy movies. Steve Martin, John Candy, The Great Outdoors, and everything. Horror movies were just really starting to take in there. You know, that's where you get the Friday the 13th and the Nightmare on Elm Street series. And they spawned off, you know, many other movies. You know, before that was kind of classic horror movies. You know, vampires, werewolves, okay. But these people in the 80s took those, you know, time, technology, practical effects, new people coming into the world of story and movie magic, you know, like Wes Craven, you know, Clive Barker, people who came into the horror movies. I mean, known masters, Sam Winston for visual effects. All these people came in there and stepped it up. And so, you know, everybody's got to keep it going. But that's, you know, that time frame is where we get what, you know, you and I would consider classic movies, monsters or monster series, I guess we could say.
Yeah.
Or, there's another word that's tip of my tongue, but it just gives us a lot of good stuff to start with, and it just kind of started a revolution of getting those movies going, that style of movie going. And so, you know, we still see it. I mean, some of those series are still carried on. I mean, heck, we just had a Friday the 13th remake not like 2 years ago. Halloween's coming out now. Actually, I think it's out now, isn't it? The new one with Jamie Lee Curtis back in it?
Yeah.
Or is it? I mean, it's going to be out this month for sure. So, I'm sorry, October. I am way wrong, people.
Halloween is coming out on Halloween.
I thought today was like Wednesday earlier today, and I was like, "What? That's not on Wednesday's menu. That's Thursday, stupid." Oh, okay, never mind. So it's been one of those days, but you know, that's where a lot of these good series come from, and it's awesome. You know, not the big horror movie fan, but you know, it has spawned off a lot of cult classics. Especially, you know, I like Freddie's smart electness, the type of comedy and stuff that he does, even though he's cutting you up in a little tiny piece, he's still having like a smile while he's doing it. So, but I think we're at that magic time, folks.
Yeah, we're at that time. Well, guys, you heard our discussion about some of the best and not so good 80s horror classics.
Not all, mind you, not all.
No, there's another 100 plus.
Yeah, like I said, we might come back and revisit the same discussion later on. But for now, the comment section below, guys, let us know what are your favorite 80s movies. Did you like the ones that we put up? And tell us your general thoughts about our points that we made about the movies, whether they were good, bad, or indifferent. Be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what's going on this channel, as well as stay tuned on Thursdays for more videos. Be sure to hit that notification so you can get when we upload new stuff. Do it.
Do it now.
And we'll catch you guys later.
Peace, love, and chicken grease.